Thank you. But how did you adapt to the times? Because you were sharing with me some great ideas.
Yeah, well, last year I just assumed forget it happened. It was terrible, and almost every designer and architect that I know was in dire straits because of the economy, and everything just stopped. And so January 2010 came, and I said, all right, time for a new year.
Yes.
And I decided that with no fear, I would go into e-marketing, and I developed. And I realized I had to do the whole thing.
Right.
I couldn't do one piece and sort of get comfortable with it. And this is way out of my comfort zone. And so I just went into it, and again, it takes a village and some duct tape, I said, to create a blog. And I'm now on business Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and whatever.
I just did Thumbtack.
Oh, I have no idea. I can't even cope with that.
It's amazing. It's a free website, and you can do your whole. It's like a free advertisement. You can put all your links and images.
Oh my God!
Cool.
We'll talk.
Yeah, Thumbtack is great. Yeah.
But it's working because it's getting my name out there.
Exactly.
And the very interesting thing that happened, I was just mortified that I would be doing this full time and I wouldn't have time to concentrate on my business. Right. But it hasn't been that, and what it's given me is the opportunity to speak and be heard, and I have a voice, which is really cool.
Isn't a blog great?
It's really wonderful.
I just started one too. I love it.
Yeah, I love talking about just stuff that comes up, and even just on the business Facebook, which is a little more casual, just things. We went to you and I went to the ICFF show, and we walked through, and I took photographs and put it up on the Facebook and talked about it.
Yes.
And I got great comments back. I've gotten comments back from all over the world, which is really neat. Doesn't take that much time for anybody who's afraid. And I just said, no fear, no fear. Fear is not going to let me stop.
That's a
no
really,
fear.
Right. When challenges come up, do not let fear freeze or immobilize you.
Right,
exactly.
Right. Which it was doing, and it was,
And I think it's also great for our audience to know too that you are adaptable and that you can take on and love to do some small projects, and it doesn't always have to be a big project.
That's right.
And
absolutely.
The fact that you were able to brand yourself, means that you're really, really clear about your mission and your vision.
Right.
And I think that, as the consumer, when you're looking for someone to work with, you want someone that's very clear and very focused on what it is that they have to offer you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So now you have some beautiful images to back up what we just said. And I love this. I love that whole handkerchief effect on the window treatment, which is beautiful.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I go in and approach a project. And first you have to fix the architecture, because if that's not working, everything else doesn't work underneath that. Right. And this was a blank box at Trump Tower, and there was absolutely not 1 inch of architectural feature or detail in there.
Okay.
So in order to create something unusual, what I did was create a triangular piece separating and defining the living room space from the dining room space when you walk in. And if you can go to the next picture, the entryway had no sense of entry. There was no wall, there was no nothing. You come in and you see right into the kitchen. So I put a wall up and extended the kitchen out into the dining area, and therefore created like a little buffet area, defined the dining area. And then this bookcase is kind of interesting because I did sliding fabric panels, so you can actually change the environment depending on your mood. What do you want to see that day? And of course the incredible view out over Central Park, which you saw in the first picture with the drapery. The next picture again is it's a kitchen that I did. I actually did the whole apartment, but I brought this up to illustrate. There's a long hallway leading from the front door, and then you land in the kitchen. Not good feng shui. No. So how do you create a landing spot so that people didn't just sort of arrive in your kitchen? So I created a circular steel end to this cabinet and created what I call a topography, so that you have high, low, medium, and then the interaction of materials. So it became a statement, and then a spot to put flowers.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. And this is the bathroom.
And this is the bathroom. This is really about organizing the space. This is out in the Hamptons, and when I got the job, it was one big, huge, one of the largest bathrooms I've ever seen in my life, and it was too big.
Yeah. And
so it was all about scaling down the space so that it became an intimate spa environment.
Wow.
And there was a fun thing where I lowered the ceilings around the space and organized the tubs and the sinks around the space. And then in the center, the floor was glass tile, which looks like water.
Beautiful.
And then the ceiling reflects that and is blue, so it reflects water on the ceiling.
Beautiful.
This is the
lighting. That's great.
Yeah, this is fun. This was a custom lighting piece that I did. And this was a really, really fun client. I had a great time with this job. But the foyer came in. There was nothing organizing the foyer. The soffits went nowhere. They sort of tailed off into the living room. There was no sense of entry. You come in, you immediately face the kitchen. I put in a sliding door which hides the kitchen, but when you open the kitchen, it slides over that 6th century mosaic that you can actually see through the frosted glass when it's in a closed position. And then putting in mirrors to reflect the space, and then a little entry foyer cabinet, again with that intersecting plane idea where the glass passed through the cabinet, and then a little piece of fun jewelry. Always do something fun on your job. Little crystal handles on the cabinet. So it's a lot of fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. And this is a dining room?
This is a dining room, and I wanted to use this to illustrate, to talk about how even placing furniture within a space. This is again about balance, the balance of architecture, the balance of interiors, and then the balance of furniture. This space was open to the living room, but we wanted to define it, so the rug defined the space as a square.
Yes.
And then the table sat within that precisely, and then even the artwork marching across the back sort of helps to define that square space.
And I like the fact that the table is not square.
The table is oval, which...
So it's a balance of shapes, too.
Absolutely, and these are Macintosh chairs, original Macintosh chairs. Macintosh did not make the right size table for this space, so then I had to design it to go with it, and so it was a lot of fun.
Great.
And even placing the cabinet in front of the window was all about organizing the space.
Wow.
And this is an apartment at MoMA Tower, and the original foyer was all just one big sort of amorphous room with solid mirrors. In fact, when you go into the powder room and came out, you actually ran into the wall because you didn't know where it started and stopped. So my client said to me, one of the unusual requests, I need a wine cooler and we need to put it in the foyer. And I thought, oh, Lord, that's a challenge. So I came up with this idea of doing stepped cabinetry in this absolutely beautiful crotch mahogany. And the highest one houses the wine cooler. And then as it steps down, otherwise it would have been just a high cabinet all the way across. And so it's really about making forms and shapes in a room to create interest.
And it's also a delicate balance.
Absolutely.
It's
totally delicate balance.
Beautiful.
And then this is a foyer table that actually serves as a place to have drinks. There's a little shelf that pulls out, and I created the everything, but including, I also designed furniture, so the stools and the table, you can see the Art Deco base in there. Really works nicely.
I like the way I love the way you make spaces transitional, so they're not like this one stagnant thing.
Island Gray was a huge influence on me early on, and I like things that do more than one thing, so I try to do that. This is a library. This is also talking about organizing space. The space, when I got it, was off-center. It wasn't quite, and it needed to be absolutely symmetrical. It just needed to be. And this looks out over the Hudson River. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Wow.
And so getting that space to work architecturally, from a furniture standpoint, from an interior standpoint, was very, very difficult and very fussy. And it was all in how I arranged the cabinet work to make that happen.
The cabinet work is beautiful.
And it just, it's absolutely symmetrical, and that semicircular desk sits there and works over the Hudson River. And then there's sliding pocket doors, again symmetrical, that open and close into that space.
It's an
so
oval
it's a lot of
that
fun.
just finished it off for me. It's really beautiful. Imagine if it was square.
If it was square, it would be like
boring.
Boring.
Exactly. This, oh my goodness. Can we talk about the fabric choices in the rug?
Yeah, well, I wanted to use this to talk about color and texture and form. This was one of my more traditional projects that I did, and I actually designed the 2 cabinets that you see there, and they were done in London and shipped over, beautifully done. And my client wanted serious color, and so I found the rug, which has we had 3 colors that he came to me with: very intense yellow, very intense green, very intense red, and I went, oh, how am I going to make this work? But I did, and first it was finding the rug with the yellow and the reds predominating, and with a slight touch of green, and then bringing in the texture of the stripes and the flowers.
Did you start?
And again, the
was
forms.
The rug sort of like the foundation, and you worked from the rug?
Absolutely.
So you really had to find the rug first.
Yeah, I had to find the rug first, which has to be found. To find an Oriental to fit a space is hard to do, really hard to do. But I had a friend who turned me on to it, so it was really fun.
I just want to make sure we have enough time to show all these images.
This one is, you talk about doing small jobs last year. This was done, and this is all about texture. This is an aluminum floor in the bathroom.
But I love the way you opened the space too with the
absolutely. Before it was a standard, typical New York bathroom, and the counter raised up with a floating sink allowed us to put storage underneath, and we increased the storage by almost 400% just in this bathroom by using more space.
I've been warned that we have a 3 minutes left. Let's go. Wow! And I want the audience to know what makes you tick and what's your inspiration. So they've seen these beautiful images, which is great. But I just wanted you to talk while I'll show some more.
Okay.
What
makes me tick?
What inspires
you? Know
what turns you on? What keeps you doing this? You know, and being fresh and always innovative.
What inspires me is being able to create something absolutely fabulous for a client and having them walk in at the end of the day with a smile on their face. And there's nothing better than that. And it just gets me up in the morning. It's the reward. It gets me up in the morning and it keeps me going. And I love when a client responds to that and gets that I've been able to do that for them. And it's wonderful.
Beautiful. Wow. I mean, these are fantastic images.
Thank you.
And just for, of course, all of those in our audience who are like sitting on their entrepreneurial dreams and wondering whether they should go for them or not, what would you like to say to those in our audience that may be doing that?
Get over your fear and just go do it.
I love it. There you have it, Charlene Keogh, straight to the punch. Well, it was so great having you on the show.
It was wonderful. This is delightful. I know. And this is great.
Of course, we will be together on another show soon.
That would be wonderful.
Somebody else's show, or you'll be on my show again. But definitely, I think it's just really great to know you as a friend and to be able to work with you and to refer you to clients. And it's just a joy. It's just a joy.
It's been a joy. Yeah. You are a joyous friend.
Thank you. Thank you
we have fun together. Absolutely.
I mean, like, even when we did the wardrobe edit, it was so effortless. It was just
He's great, by the way. Just trust me on this.
We'll do all the clothes. Pull out what's working, what's not working.
And it makes you not feel fat and ugly.
Because you're not, right? Everybody's beautiful. And like every client has a sense of style, which you can absolutely testify to. And that's the thing that I really, that's so important to me. And I think that therein lies another synergistic aspect of our work, or our philosophy, is that everyone has a sense of style. And it's not about, you don't know how to, you need to pull it together, or you're a mess, or it's not.
And it's not about making somebody feel bad about themselves.
And sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, but that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. This was great.